That and much more we're going to be talking about here on Conscious Parenting with Wale. Wale. So how do we not lose ourselves as parents? We're going to be talking about that today in Conscious Parenting here on Conversations with RD Abelio. So today I'm here with the Llamases, very good friends of mine. They are, how long have we been friends? My gosh.
Too long.
Too long na ba?
Too long. It's been helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too long.
Too long.
Okay, you can expect a lot of that in this conversation. That's known as, for many, tito jokes, di ba? But in his case, I think lolo jokes na yata to.
Hindi
Sobrang
mo
tagal.
dad.
Hindi wala dad
Dad
jokes.
nag-skip. Lolo joke.
Umangat na ako.
Umangat na. So, but Inaki and Kit have been really, really good friends of mine from way, way back. I mean, we did programs together. We went to camp. But I want them to tell their story. So, tell us more a little bit about yourselves. Individually muna.
Okay.
Diba? So, ladies first muna ba? Yeah.
Okay.
Save the best for last.
Wow.
Kinda.
Yeah.
So I'm Kit Malvar Llamas.
Yeah.
So I knew you because I was mentoring under you. I was
Menti
starting
pala,
to be
menti.
menti. I was starting to do the training with the
Yeah.
training industry.
Yeah.
And syempre, idol. I have to train with the best. So I knew you. And then, family of origin, I have 6 siblings.
6 siblings.
3 sisters, 3 brothers.
Yeah.
And I have a twin sister.
Wow. So, but wait. So you're really a Malvar,
I'm
right?
yeah.
So, by the name,
Yeah.
you're from where? Batangas?
Batangas.
Okay.
So my dad is the grandchild of General Miguel Malvar.
Biga.
So in history, he was the last Filipino general who
Yeah.
surrendered during the Philippine-American War. So
Wow.
nung nahuli na siya, declare na tapos na ang gera.
Kasi nahuli na siya.
Kasi
Nahuli na siya, guys.
Galit na galit na
Tapos
yung
na.
mga Amerikano. Ang galing magtago ni Lolo Miguel. So parang, yeah.
Talaga ba? Is that
Yes.
the truth?
Yes.
What?
He was really the last general who surrendered during the Philippine-American
And he
War.
surrendered.
He surrendered.
If he did not surrender, tuloy pa
Tuloy
rin.
pa rin.
Hanggang
Yeah.
namatay siguro si Lolo.
But he surrendered because he had, how many children? 10.
Yeah,
10
10
children.
kids.
And
Okay.
the kids were getting sick already. And the platoon was also getting sick now.
Okay.
So he had to
Right,
surrender.
right. So malaki talagang family niyo. I mean,
Yeah.
like si Lolo mo, General.
Yes. I
10.
think they have 10
10
kids. Si Lolo Pablo, the dad of my
Yeah.
dad, he's the youngest. He was the youngest.
He's the 10th.
He's the dad. He was a baby
Wow.
during
Oh my
the
gosh.
war. Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yes.
Wow.
So, big family.
Yeah.
Large family.
Yeah. And
And
then
then kami.
kayo.
Ah.
So you're 6, right?
We're 7. So,
7.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
7.
we're in the middle. Kit and Kat. Kung ako si Kit, siya si Kat.
Oh, yeah. Magandang kwento to. Magandang kwento to. So, muna, bakit Kit?
Well, not a Kit Kat chocolate. People think, di ba, parang, oh, Kit Kat, how cute. Kasi the Kit Kat chocolate. No, when we were born, si Lola, my Lola,
Yeah.
named us. Kasi I came out first. Tapos I was so thin and hairy, mukha akong unggoy.
Planet of the Apes.
And then,
May movie ka?
when
May movie ka.
my eyes was just a slit.
Oh my God.
Tapos, after 1 minute,
Yeah.
Kat came out, my
Okay.
twin sister, and they said she was so fat that the tip of her tongue was already going out. And she got my mom's eyes
Okay.
round
Oo.
also. So, nung nakita ni Lola, sabi niya, ito si Kit, si Kit. Ito si Kat Dilat. Kaya kami naging Kit Kat.
Kala mo, pakit pa eh. Oh, Kit Kat, ang
Kit Kat,
cute.
ang
Take a
cute.
break. Hindi. Dahil sa mata. Singkit yung isa, dilat yung isa. That was a nice story.
Yeah, so
Galing,
that's why we became Kit Kat.
Yeah. Oh.
And we were fraternal twins. So
Fraternal.
we don't look
Thank
alike. Yeah.
Thank God. Bakit thank God?
Kasi kung identical, ang hirap nun, ha?
Oh. Sino ba dito
Sino-
sa
sino si
dalawa?
Kit?
Oh. Maraming ganun eh, no?
Maraming
Maraming
ganun.
loko.
Daming na
Oo.
nagkakaproblema dahil.
Oh, dahil doon.
Talaga?
Oo. So how is it growing up in a big family?
Fun,
Yeah.
and also agawan ng airtime.
Yes.
Because we're 7.
Yes.
So I remember during dinner or lunch or family meals,
Yeah.
si Papa is big, wala parang police. Oh, brrr! Oh, ito na muna, ikaw muna. Kasi diba, people are talking all at the
right,
same time.
right.
So they had to be a traffic
Oh.
controller.
For the
everyone-
conversation.
For the conversation.
Oh.
Kasi everyone wants to have their
Correct,
turn.
correct.
And then, as a middle child with a twin, I think I became so maingay na masyado. Ayoko na maingay. So, quiet na lang ako. Ako na lang yung quiet.
Talaga.
I became
Pero si
that.
Kat, madaldal.
Madali. We're
Exact
really
opposite pala kayo.
Exact opposite. kami.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
She's a chef,
yeah.
and I'm the quality control.
Oh. Tagakain, in other words.
Ang sarap mag-bake si Kat.
Yeah. And she used to own a
Yeah,
bake
classic.
shop. Right?
Yes, classic confections
Yes.
with her friend
Right.
Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they used to run
Okay.
that together.
Okay.
But now she's
Yeah.
based in the US.
I see.
Yeah,
I
she's
see.
based.
So how many girls, how many boys?
4 girls, 3 boys.
Oh my God.
And the 3 boys came after the 4 girls.
Oh, so they're the younger
Yeah,
set.
the younger set. The boys are the younger set. Kaya
so
nagka-boy.
challenging. Oh,
Kasi and the distance between the first girl and the second is just 1 year.
okay.
The second to the twins,
Oh.
10 months lang.
Oh my gosh.
So my mom went
Oo.
for her post-checkup. And then Dr. Poblete said, "Congratulations, Mrs. Malvar, you're pregnant." And then my mom said, no, post-checkup. I
Oo.
just gave birth a month ago. Yes, you're pregnant. And then my dad said, paano nangyari yun? Huwag na tayo maglokohan, Mr. Malvar. Alam na natin kung paano nangyari yun.
Sundalo ka lang.
Oo.
Matulis.
Ano sabi ni Dr.
Sharpshooter.
And then the first one and the second one were both cesarean. By the way, we're all delivered sa CS.
Eh, di ba dapat 4 lang
So
yun?
my mom had 6. Nagka-miscarriage pa si mama before in between the 6 and the 7.
Guys, pati staff namin dito, manghang-mangha. Sa kwento pa lang ni Kit. Ano pa kayong kwento? Sa episode na yun. Oh my goodness. Talaga ba?
So when we were, 2 girls na. Tapos the time, wala pang mga ultrasound na
Yes.
malalaman mo yung
Oo,
gender.
oo,
So
oo.
surprise. So nung lumabas ako, babae. Tapos yung lumabas si Kat, babae na naman, napamura na si Papa. Bawal mag-bad words. May napamura na siya. Papa, paano to? And then the doctor said,
Yeah.
okay, Mrs. Malvar, let me know if you're coming back here after 10 months. Zipper na lalagay. Zipper na lalagay.
Oh my God.
That's how it happened.
And then the 3 boys.
Then the 3 boys. Pero marunong siya. 5 years.
Oh, finally, they learned their lesson. Finally. You would think, right? Parents would know more
Yeah.
or better after several pregnancies. But no.
No.
It had to take 4.
But in fairness, Papa always wanted to have a big family.
Yeah.
That's
Always.
Right. Yeah.
The stories he always shared
Right.
with us. Kailangan, gusto niyang madaming.
Well,
Oo.
gusto niya isang dosen.
Oh my God.
12.
And because of that, was it because your lolo had a big family? Or
yeah, they were
nakasanayan
also
na?
nakasanayan.
I see.
Kasi diba that's how we,
Yeah.
parang we follow
Right.
what we learn
Right,
from
right.
our family of origin.
Mhm.
So my parents, Papa, 9 sila,
Mhm.
magkakapatid. Si Mama, 12.
Wow.
12 children. And my mom was a 10.
Oh my God.
She was called baby kasi akala
Kala
siya
baby.
yung bunso.
My
Pero
mom
may-
was,
Sumunod pa na dalawa.
Wow.
baby na meron pa. Yeah, so that's
So I can only imagine the reunions.
yeah.
So
I
much
have
fun.
first
So much
in
fun.
my mom's side, first cousin, siguro 40 kami, first cousins. Yeah,
Wow.
first cousins talaga. But even in the house, before growing up, when we have visitors, my parents would come, and
Yeah.
sometimes they'd come, we're having dinner, tapos they'll go down and see the dining room, punong-puno, diba? So, ay, sorry, we bothered. You've guests, you have a party.
Gate-
This
You
is
did
my
crash.
family.
You did crash the party, guys.
This is
Join
my
the family.
This is namin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So,
That's fun.
it's
That's
fun. It's
I'm
fun.
sure.
And at the same time, it's also, you'll have to find your own,
right. Right.
voice and space. Because
Yeah.
mama and papa, and
Yeah.
they have 7 children
Yeah.
of different.
Yes.
Each one is different
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah.
Each one has different demands for attention.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
space.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that, no? But
Yeah.
let's go now to Inaki. Inaki, you're not as big as their family, right?
No, that's
Yeah,
why.
so-
How can I compete?
Yeah.
No? But no, I was one of 4
Yeah.
boys,
Mhm.
all boys.
All boys naman.
The first 3 boys came in quite early, so I was 1974, 1975, and 1978.
Okay.
Number 4 brother Tatin came in 2000.
Oh, wow.
So the age difference between number 3
Three
and
and
number
four.
4 is 21 years.
Ooh.
And then the age difference between me being the most guapo and eldest, 26.
Excuse me.
I didn't say guapo. Sorry, Pogi.
sorry.
Pogi. So it's 26 years. So growing up, very different. We were lucky if we would eat together with meals. We did, but my parents were always working,
Uh-huh.
2 incomes.
Yeah.
They would leave at 6:30 in the morning, come back at about 6 in the evening. We moved to the south. When I say south, in Las Piñas,
Yeah.
back then in the 80s, very early.
Probinsya pa yun.
Probinsya pa.
Yeah.
It was still open. So we were called the Llamases from the bundocks. Although wala man bundok.
Yes.
But it was really far.
Yeah.
So growing up, we had our own spaces. Luckily, my
Yeah.
parents built a home that was we had our own spaces.
Yeah.
No competing for attention
Ah.
because, when
Boys.
boys, no?
Yeah.
But between me and number 2, there was, sorry Andons, if you're watching, there was competition, which we sorted it out
Just yesterday.
just a few years.
Just yesterday.
No, just a few years ago.
Uh,
But other than that, everything was good. Parents who were always, since they were working, dad was always, weekends became rest day for dad.
yeah.
Mom worked 6 days a week, so she still had to go to work on Saturday. So we would go with her to work.
Right.
So it was pretty much, that was normal for me.
Yeah.
We never really celebrated Kit. If we go into it, their family always celebrated stuff.
Yeah.
They would go out and have different meals together. Kami, pag may celebration sa bahay lang. Always just in the house.
Mm.
All our birthdays were just at home.
Yeah.
But if Kit had General Miguel Malvar, wala kami.
Wala.
But my mom's side of the family was big. My mom had 5 other siblings.
Mhm.
My dad was an only child.
Yeah.
So we spent more time with my mom's side of the family.
Right.
Although most of my cousins moved out of the Philippines quite early. So by the early 80s, they were already in different
Yeah.
outside of the Philippines. So we were closer to our second cousins.
Yeah.
But other than that, still very family oriented,
Yeah.
but very different from how Kit grew up.
Yeah. And you have a province?
Well, I grew up in Manila. Mom and dad grew up in Manila, but the Liboros are from Batangas.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, the Liboros are really from Mindoro,
Okay.
but the Lopezes, my mom's side of the family, are from Batangas.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here you see, you have dynamics of the family. Diba? Yung one big family that's noisy, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. Diba? Then you have Actually, 4 is not during our time.
Yeah.
4 is big.
Yeah,
Big already.
Kasi kami
But
were
remember,
four
we were
also.
big until we were only 3 then.
Right.
Until Tatin came
Until
in
later.
Yeah.
21 years later.
Right,
So-
right.
He
and
was already
I was
26.
yeah, I was 26 already, so I was more or less working already.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Donnie was already in this. My number 2 was already living abroad.
Hmm.
Manolo,
Number 2 brother.
Number 2 brother.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Number,
Number two.
not number 2.
Number 2 brother was in the States. So yeah, so it was really.
Yeah.
It was when Tatin came out. It was like, I mean, that Kit was like before we got married. Is Tatin ba really your brother or your
When we
son?
started to date, the teen was like 3 years old. And they look alike. So it's like, yeah, so something-
Rose, huh?
Uh,
I saw my mom going into the delivery room.
And I asked him, nothing will change, you know. I just want to make sure. Is that in yours, sir? Because they look alike. He was 3 years old.
Oh my
Because
gosh. So you
super.
look like,
Super.
you look like
Yeah,
your-
number 1 and number 4 really look alike, but I don't look anything
Yeah, the
like my
other-
number 2 and number 3.
They all look different.
Wow.
When we were growing up, we would friends would ask us, how come we don't look alike?
Yeah.
So which we asked our parents,
Yeah.
Mom, how come I don't look like Andoni, I don't look like Manolo? Different fathers. Right, Mom? Different. No, it was an inside joke, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
because we don't look alike.
Yeah.
Right? And we were always teased, they're not brothers. And then we have to prove that we're brothers.
Yeah.
Even in school, you have a brother in I was grade 7, Andoni was grade 5. You have a brother in grade 5? Yeah, Andoni. No, he's not your brother. He has another brother. He looks more like my cousin who was in the same
Oh
grade.
my gosh, talaga ba?
So it was really it was funny, it was frustrating, but still nevertheless it was all these different experiences growing up.
Oh, so growing up, now that you're in the topic, though, so growing up, how did, I guess there's that part where you have what you call nature and nurture, right?
Yeah.
You're born with certain strengths. You're born with certain talents. You're some things that come natural to you. But of course, there's also the nurture part, right?
Yeah.
Where you grow up in a big family, you grow up in a
Medium size.
Regular size,
Regular
actually.
size.
Yeah, right.
normal sized family at the time that we were all growing up. So tell me more about that. How did it go? The way you are today,
Mhm.
and because I know that you both are fully aware of yourselves, meaning
We're still journeying, but yes.
yes,
Yeah.
at this point, you know who Inaki is. I am Inaki. I am Kit,
Mm.
right? And so tell me more about that, because that's something that many times parents forget.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not always, but there are times that we tend to forget because we're so busy with our kids. We're so busy with so many responsibilities, roles, or that we forget about ourselves. So tell me more about that. So let's start with you, Kit.
So when we were both Gallup certified
Yeah.
coaches. So when I was looking at my strengths, I have maximizer,
Yeah.
achiever, learner.
Yeah.
So and I realize now in hindsight, looking at my family also, family of origin, I developed, because now we are so big,
Yeah.
I developed the qualities for me to be able to be seen and to be heard. I found that space if I excel in school.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I would
Interesting.
I became a student leader.
Nice.
I was part of the student council,
Yeah.
and I love learning. So parang nerd, di ba? Parang gano'n. And
Yeah,
then
that's
syempre
called
when you
nerd
get
at that time,
yeah,
yeah.
I discovered at that time. Ay, nerd pala ako. And then because I excelled in school, both academics and with the student council, that's when I get also attention from the parents, diba?
Mm.
Unconsciously, parang syempre, they talk to you about school,
Yeah.
and then they go to school to receive awards.
Yes.
So, syempre, di ba, parang you
The
feel like,
medal.
Yeah.
you feel like, wow, I made them happy,
Yeah.
I made them proud.
Right.
And because I learned now that it's the only time I learned that about it, we all want to be seen and to be heard by our parents.
Yeah.
That's the attachment. And then those are two needs that we need growing up. So that's how I felt there was a connection. So
Mm.
when there's in school, and then in the Gallup Clifton also, I realized my bottom 34, actually 33, which really struck me when I first got my assessment. Empathy
Empathy.
was below.
Oh.
Was 33
Low.
in my blind spot.
Okay.
So I was wondering, I go, bakit empathy is in my blind spot? So I turned to my, I listen naman. Like, I can feel naman. And then she goes, can I take the fifth? Then I just
I don't
got
wanna-
really curious. I go, I thought
Yeah.
I had empathy strength, meaning I would go to feelings. I
Right.
would feel what
Right.
other people are feeling.
Right.
And then when we used to run a restaurant
Yeah.
also, and then we had mga staff meetings,
Mhm.
diba? Or performance review. And then I'd ask the staff to go to the office. Hindi pa sila pumapasok sa office, umiiyak na. Yung ganun. Tapos, for me, tears is data. So I go to, like, okay, what does he say?
Yeah.
I don't connect with how the person is feeling. Kasi I won't say, ang sabihin ko, ano ba problema? Ba't ka umiiyak? Hindi pa nga tayo nagsisimula, umiiyak ka na. Sabi ni Inaki, where's the feeling there?
Where's the empathy?
Where's the empathy there? Sabi ko, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to, like,
Shoulder to cry on ba dapat?
sabi mo lang, kumalong ka. Diba? Parang I don't go to feelings. I go to, like, okay, there's something wrong, and that's a data. So what happened? I go to the, because I want to do something about it.
Yeah.
So I suppress empathy. Not because I don't feel, because we are all human beings.
Right,
We
right.
all feel. It's just my coping mechanism growing up. I would suppress the feelings kasi pag nag-aaway kami, especially with my twin sister, tapos tutuksin niya, ang umiyak, because umiyak talo.
my God.
So parang feeling ko, hindi ako iiyak. Talagang, parang ano, kasi
Pero
iyakan ako. Tapos, as soon as umiyak ako, kakanta na siya, we are the champions. So growing up, that became my coping mechanism. I would like be with people by like thinking about things. So thinking about things and strategizing what we can do.
Right.
So that and discipline, parang order
That's interesting.
in my relationship also.
So that was you, Kit. So let's tell me naman about yourself, Inaki.
So being one of 4 boys, well,
Yeah.
3 boys for the first 21 years,
Mhm.
something like that. It was, I felt like I had a lot of responsibility. Okay. And it was not really that I wanted it, but it was fed to me. So I was always, you're the oldest boy. You have 2 other siblings. You have X number of cousins younger than you. So they will follow what you do. So what happened to me? So I was more like, I didn't move na lang. You know, I just pressure. No, so I always, I mean, with all due respect with my dad and all, he was fantastic as a father. Pero there were a lot of responsibility, pressures that were given to me, and because of that, I felt like it kept me from playing, enjoying,
Okay.
right? So when everybody
That's
when all the
interesting.
other kids were playing around because they
Role model.
could, I had to stay in the corner or
Yeah.
stay beside my parents or beside whoever, sit down while everybody else is playing. So growing up, it was really about more role modeling. I think also to a point, parent pleasing, right? So that in a way I was invincible. So they didn't see me. They didn't see my faults or my shortcomings because I was doing what they asked me to do.
Right.
Again, it's not good or bad. It's just how it was.
Mhm.
And when there were mistakes done, and one thing that always comes up to mind is I was in my great grandmother's house. And what are there in great grandmother's houses? Lots and lots of furniture,
Yes.
right? They come from a big,
Correct.
di ba? They come from a
Yeah.
big house. They go into a small
Mm-mm.
condominium. They bring everything and try to fit everything
Yeah.
into that small condo.
Oh.
One, we had a it was a lunch, and I was in the bathroom washing my hands, and then I dropped one of those, I guess, antique water soap dishes or something, and I could hear, who broke that? So I was like, oh, I couldn't say that pala. So I go out, who of the younger kids did that? And then it's the eldest grandson who comes out. Tita, sorry, Lola Bo. I was the one who broke it. Ay, nako, of all naman. That's what I heard. Of all the kids, yung pinakamatanda pa. So that was really...
That was heavy.
That was really heavy. I mean, I'm sure it was a reaction or whatever it was. It really felt like, oh my gosh, here I am trying to be invincible, not to, not ruffle any feathers. Yeah. And it happens to me. So after that, it was really, I wasn't able to process it until with Kit later on. What do we do in traumatic episodes like that? You shove it behind everything, right? So growing up, it was really about trying to be invisible, trying to parent please, aunt please, basta please la lang lahat.
Yeah.
Not the please, but super, no?
Yeah.
And again, it's something that I say fed to me because that's what people were telling me.
Yeah.
Or, you have to be like this, like that, like this, like that. And that's how it was. And growing up, it was really about that. Anything that my parents asked, I gave. Even if I was in the other side of the house, I hear my name in Yaki! Or even the Kit! I'm there. I'm giving whatever I can give. So now, 50 years in existence. It doesn't look like 50, no? But
51.
But it still happens. So I feel like I'm being of service, but in the back of my psyche, it's like it's so that I, para they don't see me anymore.
Or they need to be seen.
Yeah. So that's why Kit says during later on if we go there, it's really about. I always thought it was trying to be invisible.
Yeah.
But the pleasing comes in because I want to be seen.
Mm.
I want them to see me as the good boy. I want them to see me as the obedient teen or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting because I read the book many years ago. When you're starting to become a parent, right? You read all these parenting books, etc. That's recommended by your church, recommended by your whoever. And there was a book I think I shared this with you the last time we were together. The Birth Order book by Kevin Lehman, right? And it's interesting because he talks about the 3 orders in birth, and it's all here, all present. The firstborn, the middle child, and the youngest. Interesting, no? And that's exactly what the firstborns are normally one of 2 things. One is they're the commanders. Let's go, let's move this. It's da-da-da. Or they're that ones. They're responsible, the caring ones. They're always looking to everybody's interest, etc. So that's the eldest. And then the middle child, they're the ones who don't like to be like the older ones, and they despise the younger ones because
They get away with
all the favors of them. So I'll just create my own success. And they say that the middle child is the survivor. I mean, they will survive. They will thrive. They'll find ways to carve their own success.
That's right.
While the younger one.
Alam na.
Because this is my show. Sorry, guys.
The bunso.
And the bunso gets away with murder.
And there were some stories that were shared. No.
No. That will never be shared. But that is, I mean, being the younger one, I mean, and we're not taken seriously. To be honest, we're not taken serious because we're the younger ones, we're the jokers. We just like having fun. You take care of everything. We'll just party. And it's interesting because it's really the way.
That's right.
I don't know if, of course, Kevin Lehman is a psychologist, right? So they studied those things and how we appear in the order of birth really as a bearing, I guess, in the nurture part,
Yeah,
right? In the nurture
part.
part.
Yeah.
Without losing ourselves, of course. We have to know what we're really
Yeah.
good at, diba? What's second nature to us. But it really does play a part,
Yeah.
Very
how
big.
you're born, no? Or the order of
Because
where
the
you were born.
relationship, because we also have to think, our parents also have a different age. Nung
Absolutely.
simula, di
Yeah,
ba?
yeah,
They're also
yeah.
older by the time
Correct.
the youngest come
Correct.
in. So, yeah, we were the parents of my,
Yeah.
because our youngest is 15 years apart
Oh,
with me.
yeah.
So,
And that's true
Yeah.
because my youngest is 10 years old. My eldest is 30.
yeah.
Actually, that's a 20-year gap,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So when we're all together and the youngest does something and we say, so what did you do? The eldest will always say, unfair! When we did that, it was the wrong.
This is our
This is
punishment.
how come she gets away with this?
You can also look at the other side, the other way.
Yeah.
When you are older and you have kids who are still young,
Yeah.
they keep you young. Because you look at you have a 10-year-old, but you don't look a day over 45 or maybe even 40.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still look the same as when I started menteeing. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah. 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
And it would be interesting also to note that Inaki, for how many years were you with Delta?
I was at Delta for 15 years. Northwest, then Delta, yeah, because of the merger.
So would you say that your childhood, your strengths, your that being responsible type
Yeah.
of a person actually
Helped me.
translated
Yeah.
and helped you?
I think because being a flight attendant for 15 years, it was all about service. And when
Yes.
you're up there, it's like it was fun for me. I mean, Kit would always, do you miss it? Well, yes and no. I miss the layovers because
Yeah.
of because of
Shopping.
yeah, shopping, di ba? Wala kang ginagawa. Oh.
So,
But the work itself was fun. I mean, my gosh, you're up there. I mean, when it came to treating others with respect and with because
Yeah.
my goodness, they paid so much to be able to get from
Right.
point A to point B.
Right.
Make it enjoyable,
Yeah.
di ba? I mean, if you can't give if you can give whatever, bigay mo na.
correct.
And I mean, it was then that I realized that yes, the people pleasing, the parent pleasing, it really had so much.
Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it really I can't say it had a big impact on me, but
Mhm.
I see it also as it helped me move
Yes.
forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a positive way.
In a positive
way.
Not
Yeah.
naman
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I learned from it. I learned how to see it as for something for others, but now something for me
Yeah.
also.
So before we go to the demands of parenting and the benefits of, because there are demands and the benefits of parenting, what is conscious parenting? Ano naman yan?
So conscious parenting, usually when you want to understand or connect with your child, a lot of parenting books will tell you this is what you're going to do with
Yes.
your child.
Yes.
So that's the usual way,
The default.
the default way.
Right.
The conscious parenting is not parenting the child before you. It's parenting the inner child, the child inside you, before you can parent the child before you.
It sounds very deep, but if you break it down, it's very simple. Tama ba? No, no, because really, when we have the tendency to believe, growing up, that whatever the parent says goes,
Yes.
right? I mean, I was like that. Iñaki do this, I'll do that. Iñaki do this, Iñaki do. Iñaki say, dad ask, Iñaki do.
Mm.
Mom ask, Iñaki do. So it was always like this, hierarchical. So, and there's nothing wrong with it because back then, that's what
Yes.
the practice. They learn from their parents. The parents, it just goes back. So when Kit introduced this to me the first time, it's like we're learning from them. No. Let me go back first. You mean that I am not parenting Martina or Natalia? I'm parenting me first.
Mm.
So in the beginning, I was like, why? I know already. I mean, I read how to become a mother, ano eh,
What to expect,
what to expect when you're expecting.
Yeah.
Di ba? And then I
Ako
live
yung...
audiobook, di ba yung mga audiobook? And
Uh.
then sila, well, there are a few that we read. So it became very confusing in the beginning,
Okay.
this conscious parenting
Right.
thing. But then when she started practicing it, it became, when she was modeling it, it became easier. And she always jokes, because if it was about parenting the child in front of you, then it would be called
Children.
children. Ano?
Parenting. So, ibig sabihin, it's about the parent.
Oo.
Childing, it's about
Childing
the
yun.
child.
Diba?
Diba? So,
Tama naman. Yeah.
so, parenting is really parenting. It's about the parent. But we always, our tendency is to always change or fix the
Right.
child.
Oh.
But the child does not need fixing.
Right.
You're triggered by what
Yeah.
your child is doing because there's something in you. Diba? There's no external trigger nga.
Yes.
Because for example, like the passenger in the plane,
Yeah. Yeah.
how come napikon ka? Pero yung ibang flight attendant, di naman napikon.
Or,
So there's something
True.
in you that the other person is doing that's poking you.
Yeah.
So you are going to explode. So for example, even in our children, but you're all in the same house.
Right.
When the child is acting up, I have a different reaction. He has a different reaction. How come I'm shouting? Hindi naman siya sumisigaw.
Mm.
So it's not the child that's triggering you.
Mm.
There's something inside you
Wow.
that's triggering you. That's making you remind this particular situation.
Yes.
You're brought now to your unconscious past. That's why it's conscious parenting. It's your unconscious past.
Wow.
Okay. That, kaya pala ako.
yeah.
Because growing up, I didn't have control. And now I feel like I need to
You need to
control
control.
my child.
Oh.
Kasi growing up, I was controlled by my parents.
Oh.
Now I feel like it's my turn. That's I can't control this
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
So it's about me. It's
Yeah.
not about my child.
Wow.
So then you
That
can go
is
deeper.
powerful.
Yeah.
when
That is
when
powerful.
to add to that, when I was being parented and my dad or my parents told me to do things that I did not necessarily agree to or agree with,
Right.
but still did it.
Yeah.
When I was going to become a parent, I told myself, this is my chance. Diba?
Yes.
I can do it's now my turn.
Yes.
My turn,
Diba?
of course.
My kingdom.
Ito-
My kingdom come.
As
Of
long
the planet of the
diba?
apes.
As long as you're living under my roof,
Oh yeah.
my rules apply. Diba? So what was gifted to me? A child who thought on her own,
Mm.
a child who did things the way she wanted things done.
Yeah.
And Kit mentioned, diba? I don't know if he did mention it. When a child comes out, they're pure. They're complete. They don't
They don't have baggage.
yeah, they don't have any baggage. So it's really their experiences, parents, if I dare say, that shove the baggage to
Correct.
them, that give them all
Oh.
of this. So
Sabi nga nila, di ba, as parents, now
Yeah.
we need to be conscious about that.
Yeah.
So our emotional baggage, our
Yeah.
children don't have to carry.
carry
that.
anymore. Yes.
And this is all researched, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's all.
Thank
So
you.
the conscious parenting, the author of this movement is Dr. Shefali Chavari. She's and I was certified with Dr. Shefali. I was the first Filipina based here.
Wow, eh?
Certified with
Congratulations.
conscious parenting.
She's nationality.
She's Indian, but
Living in the US now.
living in
Living in the
New York
US.
now.
Okay.
Practicing.
She was
She's a psychologist, psychiatrist.
yeah.
also.
She was very
Psychologist, sorry.
first time I heard it, I was like, where's this coming from?
Yeah, because it's a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Diba? It's
It
parenting.
is.
It's
It
not
is.
about childing.
Yes.
That's why it's about the parent. So now when your child is acting up or you don't understand why your child is doing that,
Yeah.
then we need to look inwards first.
Oh.
How did I co-create the situation?
Yeah.
And not just fix my child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something, depending on their age, of
You're right.
course. And we also tend to forget that there's a developmental phase also with the children. Di ba?
Yeah.
Parang, like, the their brains are fully formed only until they're 28 years
Yeah.
old, 25
Yeah.
to 28. But then we expect them to behave like an adult as soon as
Yes.
they're,
Correct.
10 years old. So there's something in us that happened in our past that which we call trauma. So
Hmm.
there's also the small T traumas and the big T. The big T traumas are the usual.
Yeah.
The small T traumas are events that happen to us that were it's not really the event that happened to us. It's what happened inside us because of those events. Yeah. Really.
And this is the work of Gabor.
Dr. Gabor Mate also. So his compassionate inquiry approach on how you can connect. So it's really the parent needs to be connected with themselves. That's why we can't really lose ourselves.
Yes.
Because when we lose ourselves, our children don't know.
Yes. Now, the next question is there hope? Like, I have a 31-year-old.
Mhm.
And I'm sure in the 31 years, right, there were many instances where I just,
Yeah.
and I apologize to my kids at this point, all of them, including the one that's here. They're all behind the bar. Waiting for the apology. Waiting for the apology. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have a hard time naman saying sorry. It's just that unconsciously nga,
Yes.
because you know how we grew up, di ba? Our parents, Papa is talagang do
Yeah.
this, do that. Ganun eh, di ba?
Yeah.
So I'm sure I've pushed a lot of those things into my kids.
Mhm.
Yes.
So the question is there hope?
Of course.
Always.
Because when you're conscious, it just means you're right here, right now. So, right here, right now, there's always the work is always in the present moment.
Yeah.
As soon as you're triggered, it means you're in the past or already in the future. You're just
Worrying
worrying
already.
already.
Yeah.
So you're not anymore connected
My
to the
God.
person in front of you.
Yeah.
Because you're already worried about what will happen to you if
Yeah.
you make this decision. Or you're worried, or you might follow my footsteps. I already went there. I don't want to, I want to shield you from the pain. So we're not anymore connecting to the person in front of us. So there's always. Dr. Gabor Mate actually has a workshop, Begin Again. That's, or,
To begin again.
yeah, for your relationship with your adult children.
Oh.
Because
man.
because we
Yeah.
are also as parents, we never like had a parent school.
Yeah.
How to be a
There's
parent.
no license. No?
There's not even a license to be a
Correct.
parent when it's the most noble
Yes.
job. The parent-child dynamics
Yeah.
is the key to heal the planet because
Yep. I agree.
it affects every other relationship that you're going to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
with your parent of origin, your family of origin, with your parents. So
Wow,
yes,
that's so
you can
interesting.
always start.
That is so interesting.
No, I was gonna say, and
No.
when we talk about this, we've encountered. Why are you doing this? Aren't you disrespecting your family of origin, your parents? It's not. We're giving them. Oh my gosh, we respect them so much for bringing us up the way they did,
Yeah.
with what they knew then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember, we only know what we know until that certain point, and then
Correct.
when we learn something new, that's when we can. I can do that.
Yeah.
This is an alternative.
Yes.
But since this wasn't here then, we feel that this is what we can share with other parents as an alternative.
Yeah.
We're not saying this is the best thing. No,
Right,
it's not. I
right,
mean,
right.
this is an alternative, something else that you
Agree.
might want to
Agree.
try.
Right.
If you
Curious
to be curious about, to be able to connect. Kasi we hear it all the time. Connect, disconnect to connect, or connection before correction. We hear it, but are we actually practicing it? When we are trying to connect, we are, kasi habit, we go back to the habits, we go different things, no? Pero when we try to connect, who are we with? Are we
Yeah.
enforcing what we believe, or are we trying to understand where the other person is coming from? That's why we believe that we learn so much from our kids.
Hmm.
when they
Everybody's agreeing.
Yes.
because it's I mean when something comes out of our mouth, if we're unconscious, we can see it as disrespectful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yung ba tinuro ko sa'yo?
Yeah.
We're already going to the past na, what did I do wrong? It's about me again. When in fact, they're just showing us something that we need to work on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So every time you get triggered, you can shift that paradigm
Yeah.
to something like, okay, why am I getting triggered? What is this teaching me? As a person first. Kasi I'm a parent of a 17-year-old who's so smart, who's going to the best school in the world.
Yeah.
No? We forget about the person
Agree.
behind it.
Mm.
And that goes for us also. Before we became parents, I'm Inaki. That's it.
Yeah.
You're RD, you're Kit. So let's focus on that.
Yeah.
And then from there, let's see where we go.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So all of this is really nice. It's I'm learning a lot from it, and I'm reflecting as I'm listening to you. I'm not just listening for the sake of the show and for what's next, but I'm actually really reflecting on all my 5 kids and saying, they're major things, right? And of course, there are people here or watching who are owners of businesses, who work in companies, sometimes working moms,
Yes.
or double income.
Yeah.
Like the 12-year double income families. How about corporately?
Mm.
Will that work?
Yes. Definitely.
Super.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's also how you relate to other people is also how you were parented. So parenting is just like
Interesting.
managing,
Yeah.
like you're a boss,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
your employees are your children.
Right.
So if that's your mentality, you have a belief system about parenting or your role as a leader,
Yeah.
then that's also what you're going to project to the people that you're
Yeah.
working with
Right.
in the business. Even with finances, even your relationship with money is affected by how you were parented.
How you're parented. Yeah.
How you
Yes,
grew
that's so
up.
true.
Yeah. Super.
Yeah. So if you see, like, even the languaging.
Yeah.
So when we say money doesn't grow on trees, it's such an of course money doesn't grow on trees. Diba? But what does it mean? That money is scarce. So you also have a scarcity mindset pagdating sa pera.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
So you have this, baka maubusan ako, baka,
Wow.
so you don't believe like money is just a tool, it's just an
Correct.
energy.
Correct. Correct.
So when your children are also listening to you, how you relate with finances, and a lot of stress in families now are because of
Born out of
financial, right?
finances.
Born out of finances. So that's also their view about finances. That's also how they view about promotion, on who they're going to make friends with. So it becomes very transactional. It's not like there's so much abundance there that,
Yeah.
if I show up this way, hindi ako lugi,
Yeah.
or hindi ako,
Right.
I'm not competing with anyone.
Right.
But in the family dynamics, you're also going to reflect that when you're already working.
Mhm.
So how you treat your boss,
Yeah.
how you treat a colleague, a senior, how you also treat a newbie. It's like,
Or direct report.
yeah.
that's why the family is really the
The
basic
Correct.
unit.
Correct.
Yeah.
It will be projected on how you show up working, on how you treat money,
Yeah.
on how you serve your customers, diba?
Correct.
So on how you're being with your client. It's really a being space, that
Yeah.
energy.
And I'd like to add to that. When you're conscious about who you are as an individual first, it simplifies everything because sometimes, and we've heard it before, where you're a parent, you have kids at home. Once you step out of the house, you have to be a totally different person.
Mm.
When you get into work, you have to be a different person.
Mm.
That can really be confusing, not only for the people you work with and go home to, but also for you.
Mhm.
You don't know who you are
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
When we're only one person.
Correct.
So when you are working, when you are consciously being Inaki, then you know that whether you're home or at work, you're one person.
Correct.
You cannot separate it. And like Kit mentioned, I always share this when people ask, parenting naman yan eh, hindi naman yan leadership. The home is the most basic corporation. You have leaders. It can be the father, it can be the mother, it can be the children. In the office, there are levels that you have to follow, but anyone in the organization can also be a leader. It's how you see it. If you limit yourself, ito lang ako kasi I'm only like this. Kasi yung pay ko ganito lang eh. So this is what I'll do. Then you are really limiting yourself. Same as in the house. If the parents make children believe that they're only kids, you can only say this because you cannot curse, you cannot scream, you cannot be disrespectful, then you're limiting them. You're not allowing them to be who they are. It's well, maybe later we'll get into that, but it's really celebrating each one as an individual and not losing yourself when you're doing it.
So losing yourself means your authentic self.
Your authentic self. Yeah, sorry.
So
yes.
when we are growing up, those are the two things we need. One is attachment, to be seen, to be cared for by our parents. And one is to be authentic. But as children, parang kung gusto kong umiyak, gutom ako, iyak lang ako.
As a baby.
Pero now, but when the attachment is threatened by being who you are, it's going to trump the attachment. You're going to suppress your authentic self. Because as human beings, we always want to be seen, to be heard, to contribute.
To be of value.
To be of value. Now, when we don't get that attachment, we're always going to search for it, even as adults. And sometimes,
it affects.
Where we want our kids to fill us up. So we get that attachment to feel that need to be seen and to be heard. So it's from a parent ego na tayo, not from our essence. And we're doing that to our children, and we can do that also at work. Siyempre, di ba, the ego, it's bountiful.
Bago ka lang. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that here? Bago ka lang.
And when there's conflict, di ba, parang we always tend to blame, because when there's something wrong that happens at work, blame is the first thing that we go to, because it's a protective. It's our protective defense mechanism. So, and to be able to get out of it, how do we now lean into those difficult conversations? Because you're now going to say, okay, how did I co-create the situation? Can you imagine if every employee, whatever role, say that? How did I contribute? Diba?
Harmony.
Exactly.
Bliss.
Then lahat may sariling palo.
Correct.
You're not policing anyone, you're not managing anyone. Because you know your worth as a person, also you know your strengths. And if you don't know, I'm here to support you. I'm not here. Pero kasi when we are parented, usually when we ask parents na, how were you parented? It's so sad, but you know what the experiences are, how they were punished.
That's what they remember.
When you ask, tell us about your parenting, it's always how you were parented.
I couldn't do
I
that.
couldn't do this. It's always
Their
about
limitations.
correction.
Yes.
So parenting now is equal to correction.
Yeah.
It's not. Parenting is equal to connection.
Wow. Nice. So this is a classic example, ladies and gentlemen, where the students have become greater than the teacher. Where the mentees have grown beyond the mentor. Because I'm really learning a lot from that. True, this is honest. I'm really learning a lot. I mean, so many things that I realize that I should take action on. And by the way, for everyone that's watching, don't just watch the show, but take action. If you feel that there are certain items or certain parts that you heard and you said, I think I need to work on this. Please go ahead and do so, because we don't want to be just viewers. We want to help you take action so that you become better parents, you can become a better person, diba? And establish really those connections. No? So if you guys want to get them, I mean, it's soup. Guys, maraming salamat. We're not done yet, but it's so helpful. So helpful. As long as we act on it, right?
Yes.
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 Now, if you want to get them or book them for a talk or a workshop, I guess it could be a workshop, though. You can just go to the socials on the screen, and we will make sure that they get booked to your programs. And I'm also going to give them an opportunity to share how you can get in touch with them.
So you
Yeah,
can
go ahead.
reach it at Conscious Alchemy. That we are in Instagram, also in Facebook, and Conscious Parenting PH.
Mhm.
And for your kids, it's Camp Explore.
Yeah.
So until next time, we'll see you all on Conversations with Artie Abel.